Hey, we're live.
Yes, we are live. We're giving you an alternative to the State of the Union tonight. Listen to us. It's way better.
Way better than I'm sharing to my own personal page right now. I keep talking to them.
Yeah. We had Weston in here helping us get this started, so he went ahead and clicked us in so we could get a little bit of frames in here before we got totally started.
So while we're talking and getting all of this set up,
we're in a new location.
Who watches the State of the Union? I mean, I don't always. I have to say that's just not my thing. But this one,
every good American watches.
He's gonna watch it. I watch parts of it. I like to fast forward and just get the good stuff. If you miss it,
you have a whole week to catch up on all the hoopla.
Right?
You can't miss it. No matter if you tried to miss it, you're still gonna.
I can't deal with the drama. So much drama. Oh, okay. So y'all are on the other side of the world. I do think I can read it though. I think Jenny's on.
Oh yeah, it is far away. We're trying a little bit different tonight.
We're doing a different area.
Hope you can hear us.
We have the mic in. We just try different settings. Y'all tell us what you think. This one is not going to be my favorite, I can tell, because I'm a little uncomfortable.
But if we sit all the way back where we disappear, but it's just a matter of a foot and a half. And all of a sudden we're here or we're way back there.
Yeah. So we're going to do a different little thing tonight. And I can't watch myself. Okay. Let's make you go away. Because it's showing up over
Nothing
here.
Nothing like having delayed self in the reverse.
It's showing up on my iPad and I can see myself moving. And it's like, ah. Oh, so tonight's topic. First, did y'all watch the Super Bowl? It was the most boring evening of my life.
Hey, it was boring / exciting.
Something. Jenny says, "Oh, night, Jax.
Oh,
love you."
That's our sign right there. Jax goes to bed.
Jax goes to bed.
Talking.
We know it's time. We can bore him to sleep. No, the Super Bowl this year. Of course, I wanted the Rams to win.
It was.
I'm
good.
not a
it just
hater.
Wasn't exciting.
I'm not a hater of Tom Brady and the Patriots. No. I do have some things that I don't like, but I do have some things that I do like. So right. I can't call myself a hater over right. Tom Brady. There's too much good that the man has, right? But I really wanted the Rams to win
right.
because they have a baby coach. He's like 33 years old. He's the youngest coach in history or something like that. And I really wanted him to
33?
win. Yeah.
I thought he was 36. All right.
He turned 33
right.
the week before the Super Bowl. So
all right.
I was super wanting him to win.
Let's just say he was crushed at the end of the game.
And
no pun.
He was just devastated.
He took it hard, but
he was. So anyway, I was like, I am really, really dizzy. I'm just letting you know right now. I know I'm saying it on this, but
pops out of the scene.
It's crazy.
Dial 911.
Okay, so we're getting started. We are talking about. It's just weird. It's
Who
just
are we?
Started. Oh, he needs to do this.
Well, welcome to another episode of What Really Matters. I'm Todd White. That's Michelle, my beautiful wife. We're going to talk to you a little bit tonight about
collateral benefits.
Yep.
And oh, hey, Jace. Oh, he's riding his bike with no training wheels. Woo! That's awesome.
We need bigger fonts.
Yeah, I'm going to have to maybe look over here sometimes, or put my glasses on, but I don't like doing that. Okay, so we're going to kind of do this a little different because we normally just talk to y'all, but I think that tonight we're going to chit-chat back and forth some. I want to try a new way of doing this that might make it a little more interesting, maybe, because we like talking to each other, and I think it helps get the point across even more so, right?
Right.
You think or no?
And I can see your really big lashes you have on today.
Oh, my lashes are growing, y'all. My lashes are growing. Okay, so we are talking about collateral benefits. And has anybody seen the movie Collateral Damage? I mean, you know what collateral damage is, right? So, right? Everybody should know. You want to tell them what it is?
Well, those are the unintended things that happen in any situation.
Right.
and sometimes, of course, most people refer to it in a wartime
Hey, Cecilia.
situation where you have collateral damage. You're trying
Right.
to do something and you've hurt people
Hurt.
that were not intended to be part of your target. And that is kind of part of what we're talking about tonight when we're kind of focusing on relationships and marriage as well as family, because those things are what really matters. And we want to make sure everyone understands what collateral advantages can be. Benefits. Oh, yeah. You
Collateral benefits.
Not like-
See, he doesn't even know what we're talking about.
Well, they're advantages.
I'm just playing.
But not to be confused. Not like friends with benefits.
Yeah, no,
That
this
was your
is
line,
not,
but
that
I
was,
stole it.
He did steal it because I said he wants to be funny, and I was like, well, we are talking about collateral benefits in marriage, and I said, no, we're not talking about friends with benefits, and he says, oh,
Write that
that's a
down.
good one, write it down. So then he uses it, right?
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, I'm going to tell you a little bit, or maybe you want to do this part, or you want me to? We didn't work all this part out. We discussed what we were going to discuss, but not this. So we're going to tell you a little bit about collateral benefits and how it helps you and what it is and what you'll see. And then we're actually going to talk about it with each other. What is it that we have benefited or maybe even damaged each other with over the years, so that y'all kind of get an idea of what we're talking about, and then how that it can help you, especially if you have littles. Because there's some things that I know now that if I could go back, I really don't want to go back and relive all my life. I can assure you I'm good with where it is. But if I had known some of this stuff back then, it would have been a lot easier. So in some ways, our world is a lot harder right now, and I don't like a lot of things that I see around us, but I do like other parts. There's a lot of things that are coming to the surface to help, like young moms that are raising kids and things that's all stressful, that you're not forced into thinking that your life has to be perfect. Now you get to realize, hey, this, there's crap days where that's not the way it was when I was, or even with my mom or my grandmother. Can you imagine? They all had to have the perfect little whatevers. So those are some things, but go ahead. I'm talking a lot.
Well, we want to make sure we point out that no matter which way we go in this conversation today, whether it's we're not using the advantage benefit, or what's the other way we're going with it?
Well, you either have collateral damage or collateral benefit.
So
from how
because we were talking about it using different words all day today, so that's why
how you treat each other will either benefit you or it will damage you.
Yeah,
and
there's no in between. You're going one way or the other. You're pushing or pulling. You're not
right.
There's no way you're going to hit right in the middle.
And it doesn't matter. I want to tell y'all the funny thing is, it doesn't matter how long you've been married, because there's going to be even the little things that can or will make you have the fresh feelings for, like with the benefits. It have the fresh feelings for being angry too with collateral, no matter how long you've been married. But just even the little things that he realizes now that's important to me that he is starting to do makes me happy. So in turn, that makes him happy. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter how long you've been married, whether you're just newlyweds or whether you've been married for 29 years, you're still going to always work on trying to make the other one
happier, better.
Yeah.
Fulfilled, more secure.
Right.
When we talk about these topics, a lot of the times, it's funny how, like, you're driving down the road and you bought a new car and it's red. It's a red Nissan or something. And you drive down the road and you see red Nissans everywhere you go. Well, that's part of the science of observation. You start to notice things that are familiar to you or new to you, or things that you're thinking about all the time. I saw a thing that today or the other day, they're the same for me, by the way, today or the other day. It could be last
or
week.
10 years ago. He has no time
schedule. It just
schedule.
means sometime. I've seen. It was a study of the science of your emotions. And I was going to go to that and study that. It was part of a marketing program as to why you make the decisions that you do. Why do you feel the way that you do? And it was basically one of the areas of talking about was exactly what we're talking about right here, which was when you're either marketing or loving somebody or being friends with somebody, the way that you treat them is either attracting or repelling them.
Right.
And that
Even
is,
if you're married.
and there's a science, there's kind of a science behind it all in terms of people are attracted to these things and they're repelled by those things. It's a natural human nature. And I never really thought about the idea that people can actually have a strong influence as to how I make a decision in their direction. And that's kind of what we're talking about. Only we're going to be doing it in a very positive way for you to be able to attract your lover or your friend or your family member towards you and think about those things that makes that happen. And just like the red Nissan going down the road, you're going to see those things flying through your life, and you're going to start saying, hey, those are the things that are giving me positive benefits. And these are the advantages of paying attention to that. That's why I keep calling it that.
Okay, so today at lunch we were talking. I'm going to start the conversation back and forth now for a little bit so that I can ask you questions, you can ask me questions, and hopefully people can learn from it.
All right.
But today we were talking about collateral damage and collateral benefits.
Right.
But so for the collateral benefits, I want to do things that make you happy. You're supposed to do things that make me happy.
Right.
But we also discussed, before we get into listing those things that we talked about, what are some things that would prevent you from wanting to make me happy? I mean, there shouldn't be anything because we're married, and yet we're human. So what are things...
You mean the barriers between us? Discontentment, uncommunication?
The things, your personality.
Oh, mine?
You, what are things about you that would keep you from wanting to make me happy? I have my own towards you, and everybody else is going to have different things. But this is, I'm just trying to teach y'all, this is,
right.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times I just slip into a natural mode of just talking down to people, or how would you want to word that?
Well, that one you're condescending, but we're getting to that later.
Yeah.
Your pride,
that would separate us,
yes, but your pride,
I have a lot of pride,
and your selfishness.
Working on that. Yeah, those are the things
those are the two things that keep you from wanting to make me happy.
It just doesn't. It's one of those things where I'm too involved with self to worry about you.
Right.
So that puts a barrier in between there.
Right. And then if you're pointed out that
that creates a bigger wall.
Right. But then if I point out you're wrong.
Right.
And you're being selfish.
Those are very rare times, by the way.
Those are all the time. And what happens? Your pride inflates. Right?
Right.
And then there's no make me happy, which means there's not going to be any collateral benefits.
I'm wrong. You're wrong.
Right. Exactly.
What are you talking about?
So mine would be, the other day I asked him, was I delicate like a flower or delicate like a bomb?
Right.
So what was your answer?
Both.
Because
and she didn't like the answer. I could tell when I said it.
No, I think it's fine. I was really pleased with it.
She thought it was kind of a cop-out, but
I can see it, though. But explain it.
Well, there have been times when I can hold your hand and you'll just swoon right into me, and other times.
Well, that doesn't make me delicate like a flower.
Well,
maybe
no, your
so.
emotions are very soft, and they open up, and you flower me with all kinds of affections. And there's other times with my pride kicks in, or I talk down to you, or things like that, that you'll finally, in order for you to get my attention, you have to explode. So I think everybody has various levels of both of those things. I don't think anybody falls into one category unless you're just a witch.
So, I mean, I'm not just trying to pick on him. So the times that he does that, and I do my bomb, and I'm exploding, kaboom, all over him, right? That's when I'm not going to want to make him happy. So then the collateral damage starts and things can happen. Now, if you're doing this when you have littles, and so you're actually not really supporting each other, which happens because you're really busy, you've had a long day, work was horrible, the kids were brats all day. I mean, you know how it is, and you just kind of lose it. The collateral damage between each other now affects all of the kids.
Sure it does. Busyness, confusion, and chaos creates stress in the household, creates stress in the relationship, and separates you from all the advantages or benefits that you could be
giving. And what I learned about myself while we were preparing for this was a lot of the things, if I had things that I would say I regretted,
Right.
I exploded with my kids a lot, and I know other moms do too because I hear about it. I know because we're stuck at home with kids all the time. It's really hard not to have the explosions from time to time.
Yeah,
But
come
what
on,
I
you guys
realized
know.
is,
Everybody does,
I was
yeah.
very positive with my kids and told them they could do anything. They could be anything, and their work was great. This was great. Oh wait, but you did this wrong, or you did this. So there's things that I could go back and change. Those are part of the things that I would change. But what I realized was what was coming out of my mouth, what was coming towards my children, even all the positives or all the negatives, was basically what I was feeling about myself.
Right.
All of my own insecurities, all my own things. And that's why
You're not doing
I
it
felt
right,
like
you're
I
not
was
good
having,
enough.
the not good enough. You didn't vacuum the floors well enough. The dishes aren't done. You didn't wash off the stove or the cabinets. You just loaded the dishwasher. Instead of saying thank you for loading the dishwasher,
These
and
are
then
just off the top of her head.
and yeah, oh, trust me, I have my list. But at the same time, you want to teach your kids to do the complete job. So it's how you handle
Right.
things. So, instead of me having said, but you didn't do this, it should have been, thank you for loading the dishwasher. Do you think you could do one more thing for me? Can you wash off the stove and the kitchen cabinet? And that way they feel edified,
Oh, yeah,
and they're
steps
not
of success.
and then when they're done with that, you thank them for that. But when you're in the middle of it and you're in the middle of raising, those are all, and so your collateral damage. But the benefits is what we really want to concentrate on.
Right.
That's kind of part of the damage. Y'all hear the negative,
Right.
and it falls apart and causes people
We're
to
just trying
have.
to make sure you know what we're talking about. It's not just this; it's everything that's affected. Kind of the butterfly effect of the relationship.
Well, when this relationship is strong, then your kids are going to be, they're going to feel
Confident.
strong and confident in the relationship
Secure.
and secure. Well, that's what we were talking about here. You said because your phrase when the kids were little,
Right.
and we taught all of our kids to say this, and I know my daughter heard me because she's repeated it to us several
Right.
times.
It's wonderful when you hear it.
And
from
so
your kids.
what is that?
Well, we kind of had an epiphany about all of this, and I finally said, divorce.
Well, this was at the beginning because
Yeah.
I was a crazy loon.
Yeah, even before the kids.
I mean, when
Just
he
to
married me, y'all, I was crazy.
Just to establish a place to come together, no matter what's happening, I came up with divorce is not an option, and and we made that the sticking point of no matter what. No matter what, divorce is not an option. So when things went really bad and it's all going to heck in a handbasket,
Right.
you have a place you can both come back to, literally.
But if he hadn't had
and
that at the
join.
beginning, we probably would have divorced because I had come from some really bad stuff prior and I hadn't gotten over it. So there were some things that's God gave that to him to be able to get
It
through.
certainly helped break through a lot of barriers. It didn't. We both knew what it meant, and it was what it was, and it cut right through. And we're like, all right, let's stop what we're doing.
And let me just clarify:
And fix that.
the only time that divorce is an option is, if he's beating you, if y'all are running around on each other. No sense in being married anyway at that point. But you could. That's not necessarily one where you have to get a divorce. You could work through it. Drugs,
Right.
alcohol, abuse, those kinds
Physical,
of things.
emotional abuse,
Then you
drug
need to
abuse.
get out. So now let's get to the benefits.
Right.
The benefits are, it says here, I'm going to just kind of read this real quick and then we're going to discuss. It says, I want to encourage you to be hypersensitive to your spouse's emotions and reactions. Watch their moods change in the response to what you're saying and doing. Okay, so because this way you can be better equipped to identify whether or not you're causing collateral damage or collateral benefits.
Right.
So for you, what would you say? You told me earlier, you like it when I'm happy because when I'm happy, I do everything for you.
Right.
So what are the...
I mean, it sounds terribly selfish, and yeah, I guess it is. But I mean, you become soft and open and.
But what are
very
the things that
approachable.
you do that you know about me that makes me happy?
Well, I know one of the things we like to touch, so we like to hold hands.
Right.
And just that very simple gesture knocks down a lot of any wall or crust that might
Right.
be there.
Always
Will
staying
always
connected.
fall down. So whenever I reach out to connect with her by touching her hand, and we do it a lot. We're walking into the office and different places like that, but it's a very soft and yet strong connection that you can have. It says a whole lot because it's the gentleness that shows the power of the relationship.
Right.
And that's kind of part of the science of all this, that you're paying attention, that you're trial and error, and you have this hypothesis and how things are going to be, but you actually can test it and see when you're doing different things.
Yes,
Watch
and
what
that's
happens.
what I was going to say.
when
Is
you're
one of the
talking.
deals. Okay, so we had a kaboom this week, this past week, because I have this thing where I want my bed made, and I make my bed all the time. And mind you, when I say I make the bed, I'm really
just kinda
just
pulling
pulling
it
all
up.
the
It's not
covers
even-
up and making
not
it
even
nice and neat.
tucking it all in,
I didn't
right?
tuck it in around the bed. I'm just making it look all.
If you saw the bedroom
But-
from across the room, it would look kept.
So
Yeah.
I want it done daily. I do not want to come home to an unmade bed. And I was getting really irritated with him because when I get out of bed in the morning, I'm up before him, so I go shower and then I pull my covers up, right? But he's still in bed, and I've already done my half the best I could, and then I tell him it's time to get up, and then I kind of finish smoothing out on my side. But I know he's coming back to get ready, and he doesn't want his covers pulled up yet. So I'm being nice and I'm leaving them down. But he never pulls them up, and I have to go over there to finish the bed. So I asked him one day, can't you just do this? And this is where his little pride stuff came in, and he was like, whatever, right?
Whatever.
Is that not what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. He thought I was overboard and he was going to
You're
put me in
making
my
too much
place.
out of this.
So the next few days, the next day I just left it, and it just irritated me.
The wall was building. Brick,
And
brick, brick, brick,
yes,
brick.
and so the collateral damage was starting,
bricks.
and then I just kept, and then the next day, it took like 3 days, and I would just huff my way. I just started huffing my way over there to
I
to
saw
fix
the looks,
it.
but I was like, I'm
And
busy.
I
don't
was
care,
just
whatever.
like,
She's
oh my
quiet.
word, you can't take 30 seconds to
It
do
didn't
this.
Even take that.
I mean, seriously. So he was all like, I don't really care.
Yeah, it wasn't. I had an aversion to it. He's just
But
like,
then
whatever.
he realized he could see the damage he was doing. And then all of a sudden,
was
Michelle's
important
not
to you.
playing nice anymore because she's done.
Right.
And I know this seems small, but this is where we are after 29 years. We've already done the hard stuff.
I decided.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, and
So
then after
he
she
noticed
exploded-
how bad it was and how upset I was getting. And he finally did it one day. And I was like, so my first reaction was, well, I mean,
It's
it's
about
about freaking
I
time.
didn't do that though.
I didn't say it, but that's what was going all on the inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said thank you to him. And I noticed it and I appreciate it. And then he did it again. And then this morning he
Positive
did it.
reinforcement.
Right. Well, and then today he did it. And it was just like, now it's all warm and fuzzy, right? So
Now she's doing it.
now it's all happiness
Right,
inside.
on
So the
purpose.
collateral benefits are when he's done this part on the bed, that he's made the bed
To honor your sick
to
obsession.
honor
with
my sick obsession with having a made bed, then I get happy. But when I'm happy, that's what benefits him because that's
Right.
when I want to do everything for
It
him.
truly is the least I could do.
And that's what the benefits, the collateral benefits are
Yeah.
about. So, he knows if he holds my hand. He knows now if he just pulls his freaking covers up in the mornings. Hey, Megan. Hey, Jennifer. I thought I saw Patty earlier. And so now there are things that causes collateral damage to me besides the not making the bed because
Oh.
that one's bad.
Come on.
But that would
that?
be, yes, his condescending nature talking down to me will shut me down in a hurry.
I don't talk to him.
And I know you don't. And now he's going to put on a show. So it's really one of those things. You have to learn your spouse. And there was something that he did a few years ago, we were doing the 5 love languages, and it was a class, and we had several people, and we were teaching it, because y'all know that's one of our biggest things. We love it. And so Todd was telling them, y'all really need to get to know your wives, talking to the men. And he starts telling them, I know what Michelle is feeling when this, and this. And at this point, it was all music, because that's what I would just delve into music. I still kind of do. And he would say, if she's listening to this kind of music, this is what's going on with her. If she's listening to this kind of music, this is what's going on. And he kind of went through this list, and the other men were like, ugh. And I was super impressed, because he knows me that well. And, one of the big things that I would say is, you know me better than I do. Would you not agree? Because I have a hard time with knowing what I want in life, and the insecurities that I have, and I still can't get past some of the stuff in my past, and I'm a work in progress.
Yeah, I'm not tripped up by a lot of those things that
you don't have any of those.
Yeah.
You don't have any of those.
I don't see you through those things. You see yourself through those things. I see me
through those things.
I don't see you through any of those things, so it's easier for me to see.
But for him, because he knows me so well, I feel so comfortable with going to him. Another collateral benefit, when you're comfortable with your spouse in that fashion, you can go to them. And technically, this is any relationship.
Right.
Most everything we're teaching on is, parents and kids, brothers, siblings. Sisters, it doesn't matter. And so,
you're a human being.
Right. And so even office people, I mean, there's some of the stuff that we could apply to coworkers and, just friends. You can apply a lot of this and a lot of different things. So you're just, one of the things that I have on here, you wouldn't apply to anybody else but your spouse. Just saying. We'll get to that in a minute. We're applying some fun stuff.
Applying some lotion or something?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So anyway, what was, now I have forgotten. I got myself off track. Okay.
I didn't do it, did I?
No, I was giving some of the benefits, the things that you do that causes the collateral benefits, where you reap what you've sown. When you hold my hand, you know me so well. You're not condescending. Yes, but I'm not there yet.
All right.
You're not apologizing really makes a big collateral damage.
Right.
Because you don't apologize because of your pride.
Right.
So when you're talking that way, let's talk about me for a second. I mean, we've talked about like the good side of me. I do all the collateral benefits and I'm peace. What are the things that I do that causes collateral damage? Talking from a wife to a husband, sometimes we need to know what are the things that wives do. I mean, I can tell you some of the things that I used to do, but I've grown out of some of them.
What were those?
Well, one of them was being a martyr. And I didn't realize I was being a martyr, though. I really didn't.
That's how I got her to say it, because I'm usually the one that says it.
But I didn't. But I'm not a martyr anymore.
I know. If I use that word, I know I might be changing the situation, but it's not going to be for the better.
Oh, if he calls me a martyr, it's done.
But a point
I'm walking
has
out.
been made, a
I'm
very
just walking
strong
out.
point. Yeah.
I am not a martyr anymore, and I really didn't realize I was being a martyr at that time. But those are one of the things that would cause collateral damage to you.
Right. What does that mean?
That means it would shut you down, and you would.
Being a martyr.
Oh,
what kind of martyr we're talking about?
Well, you tell them, because I'm not smart enough.
Throwing yourself on the sword. There's a situation where you're like,
well, if y'all aren't going to do the dishes, then I guess I'll go do it myself.
Right. And you just throw yourself
tired of waiting on y'all
into the battle, let yourself be slaughtered, surrender, whatever. I'll just take the lashes, I'll take the sword, I'll take the damage.
Yeah, but usually it was because y'all weren't doing stuff I had asked to be done. And then I would just have to go do it. And
rather than dealing with it, it wasn't just that she was going to go do it, it was that, I'll do it. That's the kind of martyrdom
so what else do I do that causes collateral damage?
Well, what we were talking about earlier. It's at a blank in my head right now.
Well, we didn't have anything from me to you except for that
one. Damages? Well, I do know that whenever
we had all of the things, you're just happy making me happy because I then do everything you want. And so
insecurities also
Yeah, but that's not something I
builds
can.
a lot of doubt in my mind about what's going on. So it creates separation, in the sense
Right,
that
but I can't always.
I'm just saying. You said what one of the things
Well,
you
I
do.
know. But one of the things I've learned to do, ladies, is I'll come to him, especially if I know it's going to be a touchy topic, because we have a couple of those that we, walk on eggshells sometimes. And I'll be like, okay, so I need to talk about this, and this is how I need you to take it, because this is not what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So you kind of preface it. When my daughter was a teenager, whenever she wanted to come tell me something that was going to tick me off, we had a way to solve that, and that was she would say, Mom, we need to talk. We had a code word, and that meant I was about to get really PO'd, but I had to
You promised
listen
not to, yeah.
and not get PO'd because she was coming to me. And that's kind of how we got through some of the tougher years. And it allowed her to come talk to me a little more because we had that. Well, we kind of have that, only it's not quite that tense. There's just a couple
Right.
of things that we're still, especially doing the what really matters, we're talking so much more. It's really bringing us close together, and we're together 24/7. So there are some times that it gets like
Am I
we
a
could
little
use it's
thick-
a little much.
a little thick
It's a
with
little
time?
much.
Yeah.
And so I will come to him and say, okay, sometimes it's I just want to go play video games, but he wants to be together because he's quality time, and I'm like, I'm done with you, but I'm not done with him. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Do y'all understand that?
Not
Okay.
to me, because I'm a
So,
quality time person, but yeah. I get it.
So your positive actions and interactions with each other will cause your spouse to be more at peace and to be happier, and then they will generally start making sure you're well cared for.
It may take time to
It
build
takes
up over.
time
If you're
sometimes, of course,
if
for
a
this
couple's
to
really
take place.
calloused in this area,
Right.
it isn't going to happen right away.
Well,
it's going to take practice and
The
practice.
love languages. Go do
it
those
kicks
love
in.
languages, man. And then the other thing is the big one that I'm going to talk about right now is time on your phone, your iPad, your laptop, your TV, whatever it is that takes away from your family. Stop it. Set aside a time, 9 o'clock at night. Everything gets shut off or whatever. And make sure you have a one-on-one conversation. Since we're together all the time, when we go to lunch, we're on our phones.
We look
and
like the
people
worst
look,
couple ever.
we look like we don't even like each other.
We talk less at lunch than any other time.
Because we just need some alone time. But yet, you're not really alone, but you're trying to be. But I mean, it's kind of nice. But if you don't know us, you're going to think, wow, that couple's just mean to each other. But we're really not.
Pretty typical, couple that's not talking and drifting apart. Like, nope, that's not what's
Well,
going
I mean, we still talk at lunch,
on.
but
Well,
I
we
just
talk
mean,
on the way there and the whole nine yards.
it's
But
just-
it looks that way. It's an image that other people will pick up that looks negative.
well, I was
And
going
that's
to.
another aspect of negativeness that can be portrayed in it as well. Is not only what the other people perceive it and respond to you in those ways as well. They think you're a bickering couple. Then guess what?
Right.
They're not going to come up to you with the best intention, or if at all, in terms of dealing with that.
Putting down your devices, turning off the television, and I'm a football person, so for 6 months of the year, I like the TV on. I'm watching football all the time. I'm
Right.
not a big TV person. I'm not a big movie person. I try to spend time with him watching some stuff, but I can't.
Simply can't watch a movie with her
I
unless
can't.
unless it's animated.
I like the kids' movies. I'm just not. I just don't want the drama and all the stuff. I just can't go to sleep. I started watching the new Star Trek show with him, and I really liked it. And I was watching it, and then all of a sudden there's stuff in there, and it's keeping me up at night. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to go play Mario, and you can do this because I just can't. I just
literally
can't.
said one episode. I think I could actually watch this episode with you. The very next episode, she went, "Nope, can't do it.
No,
I'm out of here."
I'm not. I can't. So we've kind of learned, and by doing that, it's okay to be apart while you're doing those things,
Right.
and that's part of the benefits we're talking about. we're at peace with each other. That brings love to one another. Would he prefer for me to be out here? Absolutely. But he also understands I can't handle that part of the show.
Because we've got
so
these other
he's
areas
good with
figured
it.
out. When she goes in there, it's not like
It's not-
there's
I'm
a
not-
problem.
right.
It's actually kind of welcomed.
So at
in its own way.
night, well, that's because there are times I think you want some alone time
Yeah, we're
too.
fulfilled in all the
Right.
other areas, so it's okay to have this. It's not a
So-
void. It's a pause.
We're the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to start shutting this down, is for your, to help with your benefits, if you will. We talked earlier at the beginning and said this is not about friends with benefits. It's about your marriage, right? And I mean that literally. And I'm talking about those benefits for sure. Because when you're happy and you're at peace and you love each other, then the benefits will
get more benefits.
you'll get more benefits. Just saying. But one of the most important things that I discovered with us, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long ago, 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's been somewhere, it's been a while, so when there's a TV in our room, and I know not everybody has a TV in their room, and I hate it because of all the lights and the energy and stuff it puts out, and I need time to just chillax before I go to sleep. He likes the TV on. It puts him to sleep. I know. We're totally opposite. But I'm like, fine, bring a TV in. And so we go in there. About now is when we would be going in there. And he would be on his phone. I'd be on my phone. I'd be playing Mario, whatever. We'd spend probably 30 minutes just doing our thing.
Yep, you and me.
He's watching TV, but we're on the bed and we're not. Well, then after about 30 minutes of that, everything gets shut off. So I turn off the games, my phone's turned off, his phone's turned off, and then we lay down kind of like this.
On the opposite side, though.
Only I'm on that side. And we watch a show for 30 minutes, usually because there's no commercials, it's really 15, 20 minutes. And then if we're not ready for bed, we'll watch another one.
Nothing heavy.
But nothing that I can't deal with. Something that's going to keep my emotions where they are and not get me all worked up. So, but I've noticed that when we don't do that, that the closeness that we have is not there. So what I'm trying to say is, I think
emotional as well as physical.
Yes, you need the physical touch, and I'm not talking sex right here, although if it leads to it, by all means. But just the snuggling part, just the enjoying, I will actually just look up at him and enjoy the fact that, I'm with this wonderful man. It's awesome, you know what I mean? But when you don't do that, and especially when you realize, he hasn't held me in a month. Right. And then you start feeling like distant and the walls come up, and that's where your collateral damage starts coming in.
Right.
So now, of course, I realize that I'm a touch person, and so, you may not be.
Right.
But I still think it's important, whether touch is at the top of your game or not, with the 5 love languages, there still should be some of that going on. You should still have a desire to want to, if nothing else, just, sit and talk to each other for 10 minutes in your room before going to sleep, one-on-one, without any distractions, with no children, with no phones, with no TV. Just look at me and talk to me. Tell me sweet nothings. That's what I always tell him. Okay, I want my sweet nothings now. Yep. It's time for you to make me feel good.
Right.
And he hates that.
I do hate that.
He hates that.
I don't know what sweet nothing. I know what they are, but they just don't roll off my tongue. In terms of the touch, we're amazed at how many times we'd mentioned earlier, and certainly I guess I had, about holding hands. Such a simple gesture, and it means so much. As soon as we touch, it makes the picture complete for us. But we have so many people that yearn for that. They've come up to us and mentioned to us how adorable they think that is and how much they wish they had that. There's a lot of need out there just for the security of knowing that the other person, that touch brings in a lot of security.
Well, and it means a lot for me.
It means a lot to a lot of people. So. I mean, we don't do it for display. We just do it. And one of the advantages or benefits of this is that it actually edifies other people in the relationship, and that I just think it's funny that people we may not even necessarily know or be acquaintance with at the office, and like, that's just so wonderful. I wish we could, they would do that or whatever.
Or I wished I had a relationship like that. And I'm like, well, let me tell you something. This didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't just happen overnight. Marriage is a lot of work, but it's not really when you're putting the other one first.
Oh,
if you're making the other one happy, then it's not a lot of work. You're making them happy, so they're happy, so they're making you happy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this with joy.
I was reading through one of our things the other day, which is that you always start off, marriage is a lot of hard work. Marriage is a lot of work, but it can be fun work, and it's not that difficult.
It doesn't have to be
as long
hard.
as you get out of the me.
That's going to be our next
we.
topic. It doesn't have to be.
Do it for her. She does it for me.
It doesn't have to be hard.
It doesn't become hard, but you do have to work at it. But it's not a big challenge.
Right. Okay. So we've been talking long enough.
We have.
And I see we still have people with us. Woohoo!
That's great.
So
hanging in there.
Tell us what you think. Hopefully you like and share the video. If you got anything out of it, please share our page as well, because we're wanting to grow this.
I know my glasses have been off.
I had a scripture
Those
that I was
lights have been in my eyes the entire time. But
where's my scripture went? Okay, so this was coming from one that was collateral damage, but this is still works, because usually the reason why we cause collateral damage is because we've been hurt, right? Hurt people. Right. And let me tell you something. I don't know anybody who hasn't been through hell and back in some form or fashion.
Right.
I mean, everybody's been hurt.
So your misery loves company is not a good policy.
So don't take out your hurt on your spouse or your kids.
You don't want that company.
So the scripture is Psalm 147:3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So you need to allow yourself to find healing in whatever it is that took place. And I don't care if you need therapy, go get it. Yeah. Prayer, talk to somebody. Definitely talk it out with your spouse so that they know and they can help you, because this guy's been a big source of, I would say, healing. God's the healing, but, who's helped me be able to conquer this stuff. So, God is the one who brings the healing, and get your hurts taken care of so you're not causing collateral damage. Right. That's what I wanted to say. Right. Okay, so it's time for us to pray for them.
Get out of yourself and just start talking and sharing.
Right. You ready to pray?
Yeah.
You want me to?
Yeah, I want you to tonight.
Okay. Father, I thank you and I praise you. I thank you that we have our friends and family out here that's watching and joining. And I ask that, Lord, that they are able to hear this and apply it to their lives, and that you provide healing in relationships where it's needed, that you provide healing in their hearts and their spirits, Lord God. I pray right now that they are surrounded with collateral benefits in their lives between their relationships with their spouses or their parents or their children or their siblings. Lord, I just pray that you would put a hedge of protection about them against any collateral damage that would be coming to them or their families. That is not a necessary thing, and we ask that that is prevented. Lord, I just thank you and I praise you right now for your love. I thank you that you love us more than we could ever know, and that just always amazes me. And I just ask that you would minister right now to each and every one. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so y'all have a terrific evening.
Yep.
And go watch the State of the Union address.
Yeah, it's over.
He's going to go watch it now, and I'm going to play Mario. So
we now return you to your regularly scheduled
If you have any topics that you want to hear, let us know. If you have a prayer request, send us a message, and we will pray for you. We will not share it with anyone. We keep everything private. So we'll talk to y'all later.
Godly benefits, that's what we talked about, because that's what really matters.
Yes, it is what really matters. Now, I'm going to walk all the way up to the camera to turn this off, because
good night, everybody.
We are so far away.